Okay. So just standing guys up. Safe moves first, no dice rolls involved. So that's 2 dice block will block there on him to free up this ghoul. And also gets the assist on here. Okay, so this mummy, he's come in to get the assist on this vampire here from this guy. I've put this mummy here rather than here, and that's quite important because if I get a pushback, it puts the vampire here, which is a good matchup one-on-one for me. Mummy against vampire. If I put the mummy here, a pushback would have either left the vampire free, or with a 2 dice block if I follow up, or here against the white. So this is the best position for the pushback I'm thinking about. Even when I get the knockdown, it's still best for the vampires to be there. Okay, I've decided to commit to this white now to get this 2 dice block here, because I can see that I've got one of these 2 ghouls to come back and be the sweeper at the end of the turn. As here, I've just decided to get this mummy involved, get him in contact with the ball, try and make my opponent rolls dice, continue to just be the plan. Don't take any unnecessary risk myself, just put pressure on the opponent and make him roll some dice. Trading stuns on each side a little bit here, but it's possibly not a great idea for the vampire team to be trading blows one-on-one with the undead. Eventually, that should tell, although we're even men at the moment, that it's not going to continue over. Yeah, that 1 dice block was a terrible mistake there from him. It's opened up. These 2 guys there, just standing doing nothing, were preventing me getting a 2 dice block. So, we're now into turn 5 of my drive. I'm going to start to take a very small risk here. So I'm going to make a 2 dice block with this mummy here first before I move any players or make any safe moves, because that gives me an opportunity. So the chances of it turning over here is only 181, so it's a very small positive risk for the potential upside of getting 2 dice on the ball carrier if this guy goes down. Very importantly, I didn't follow up that block. Even though you think maybe marking that guy, should I not kill him is important, this would block me in and stop me getting into the position I wanted to get. Again, I go for it now with this guy. It's a risk, small risk I'm willing to take to get 2 dice on the ball carrier. Okay, with the ball landing there and be unable to get it, I then decided to move this mummy around. So I've left them to this point to see where the ball lands. I mean, the ball can end up landing there, in which case the mummy wants to go over here. And so leaving this guy, as many guys as you can free when you've got the blitz on the ball carrier is quite useful. So as it turns out, I can't get to the ball, so moving this mummy back line in front of the play prevents the vampires coming through this line here, should they get the ball next turn. I decided to take a cheeky 1 dice there, try and pop up the ball with this 2 ghouls still free to scoop it if it goes nicely. Unfortunately, it didn't go nicely, but that's fine because now this ghoul can go here, mark this guy, and this guy can come back and become the sweeper. Okay, so even though, if you see, it's still 10 aside, it's 9 versus 10, but every single one of his players is marked up. So his dice rolls can be made or necessary from every single one of his guys. Bit of a big time Charlie move there. A little 3 up dodge, 3 up pick up, dodge through. But we're still fine. As you said, all of these 1 dice blocks that he's making are the costing him rerolls. He's now down to 0 rerolls with 2 turns of his drive remaining, and he's just all these 1 dice blocks he's making is bleeding him dry on that front. Okay, so I've got a potential shot on the ball here. So I've decided to commit this guy who was the sweeper to try and achieve that. So I made this block here, and very importantly I've followed up, because following up here gives me the potential to get the blitz in on the ball carrier. If I don't follow, then he's blocking the square that I can go through. I killed it, well, got rid of him in the end, but if he'd been filling those 2 squares, then I can't get through. So I made this block here against this guy at the start of the turn, knowing that a pushback was okay, with the positioning of the remaining players still in mind. Okay, again, I didn't go for anything crazy. I didn't try to pick up the ball or make dodge rolls or go for it to try and cover it any better than this. I'm just making as few dice rolls as I can on my turn, trying to grind him down over 8 turns. Simple things like that. I mean, he's needed to roll 3 2-ups just to get that person there, not with a turnover. But that's 4 up pick up, a dodge, that kind of stuff. So yeah, eventually some of these dice didn't work, and then I'm in a reasonable position. Obviously the ball going here is the worst place, but we're still absolutely fine. First things first, don't roll any dice rolls, just this guy's free, he can move back to cover the ball. Second thing, it's going to be, this is my turn 7, I'm going to have 1 turn after this. So I'm going to get a guy in range. I'm thinking I'm now 3 men up against the vampires. I'm thinking I've got a fairly good chance of both stopping him scoring and giving myself the opportunity to score on my turn 8. So I'm taking this block with block first to free these 2 guys up, and I'm eyeing up this surf here. I've decided that I can, if I can push him there, him following doesn't matter, I can still get the surf around this way. I decided that I can get a surf, and I've got the room to come around and pick up the ball with this ghoul as well. Everything works perfectly. Before I do that, because there's going to be a couple of go for it's involved and a pickup, I decided to make a little go for it here. Just mark the vampire, make him roll extra dice. Okay, so I failed this first go for it. There would be a go for it and a 3-up without a reroll to remain after this, so I've decided not to make those dice rolls. Making those dice rolls is probably the only way he can score. If I, on his turn 8, if I dodge there, fall over, and the ball lands there, for example, the potential he can get somebody around and get the ball to the vampire. His first bloodlust failure. And the first opportunity for me to see this graphic on BB2. This is pretty cool. Okay, so I actually made a little bit of a mistake on my turn. I thought that I could get this zombie here to assist against the block against him without rolling and go for it. In the end, that wasn't the case. So I've taken on a 3 dice block here to free up this zombie to send next turn and do a go for it, rather than just doing the go for it with this zombie. Technically, that's not totally efficient play, although you think a 3 dice with the mummy is a pretty nice thing to have. I'm so many men up that I'm not really worried about attrition as the particular main point here. Scoring a touchdown is the big deal. My turn 8, so even taking that 1/27 chance of a turnover was unnecessary, so definitely a mistake. Luckily, I made the go for it, so that's okay. So yeah, trying to make this a 2 dice splits from the skeleton to move the guy off the ball, and then hopefully eyeing up the pass to the school. So I've taken on this 2 dice block here, because I want to create a direct path to try and get a pass through to him and not risk an interception. Taking a 2 dice block on with block to remove that possibility, I think was worth it. Use the reroll on there, but lucky enough to get the 3 up to score. So that's quite fortunate. But I think I'll probably end it. Over the case of just grinding him down and seeing what happened. Just trying to make him all as much as possible. Okay, that was half time, and at half time he failed all 5 of his KO rolls, and I made my 1, which was obviously ridiculously lucky, and he then conceded at this point, which you're not supposed to do in Champions Ladder. That's a little bit naughty, but you know, that's the kind of thing that happens on online Blood Bowl, and I guess if it's ever going to happen, you can kind of feel for him in this situation. So I thought it was a good game to continue to show anyway, because it's a little bit shorter video. I think trying to get these into a shorter package as possible is probably a more digestible way to watch them. So yeah, that'll be the end of the video. Again, thank you for watching if you got to this point, and please like and subscribe the channel if you enjoyed it. So thank you very much.